Lisa here today, Motivational Monday. The topic I'm going to tell you guys about today is something that I'm kind of guilty about, but not y'all, kind of guilty. So I guess it's kind of like sharing what I learned and hoping that you learn something through it too. So yeah, I want to jump right on in, but before I do that, I want to apologize because for the last few weeks I've been MIA with the Motivational Mondays. Now, if you're on my YouTube channel, you see that I have been doing like some Bible stuff, but that's for homework, and that's why I've been late because I haven't been getting my homework done on time. So homework is due Sunday night at 7, and so I've been like Sunday night at 7, I have maybe half of it done, and then when I get home after all my day's work, and I get home at like 5:30, then I just like stay up the rest of the night so I get my homework in, so I can finish my homework by Tuesday morning. And so that's why on Monday I never get time to do my Motivational Monday because my homework has been late. And so this week I was determined to get it done, so I got all my writing done, got it all in, so tonight I can just actually do a Motivational Monday. So, and that's what brings us to this topic. If you're wondering about the lipstick that I have on, it's the number 900. This is the Maybelline Color Sensation Vivids. And to make the color pop more, because my lip color is very like desert rose-ish, it kind of changes the color of the lipstick, so you can't get the pure tone. So I just put concealer on my lips. If you want to use a lip primer, you can, but I don't have a lip primer. That's just fine. It keeps it on longer anyway. So yeah, that's what I have on my lips. So let's jump right into the topic. So last week we studied the book of Nehemiah. We were doing the pre-exilic books, the books that talk about what happens after the people came out of exile, out of the Babylonian exile, back into Judah to rebuild the temple. Okay, so we talk about Nehemiah, and Nehemiah 2 talks about how Nehemiah went alone with him, just a few people, not really much animals, in a quiet of the night without telling any of the officials, and he did the research he had to do for the plan that God has put in his heart. And so I wrote up that for my homework, and it really was starting at me. And so today I was walking home from work, and the Lord told me that I need to share it with you guys. So I say I'm guilty of this because I haven't been doing Motivational Monday because I hadn't been doing my homework on time. And like with certain things that God gives you, you never know how much it changes or affects people's lives. And if you're not doing it, you could, like, somebody's life could be not changed or not spared, or like some people like a preacher that's preaching salvation all the time and they just decide not to do it, then somebody's life is not saved and someone doesn't know Jesus, and that's because they weren't walking in their call. So yeah, that's kind of the thing I want to talk to you guys about, because I wasn't getting my homework done on time. I wasn't able to do a Motivational Monday, and I don't know whose life it affected that I wasn't doing it. And so I just want to encourage you guys to really do what God's calling you to do and not be afraid of what people say or how they will feel about it or how they receive it. For example, I know so many people who can sing, but they're so afraid to show people their gift, and because they're afraid of people, what they're going to say, how it's going to respond to them, how the people are going to respond, just fear of people not accepting them, and their gift is so strong. Like I see people prophesy with the words, and I see people sing the song, and it touches so many people's it touches so many people's lives. Like the prophetic word is amazing, but the prophetic song, it just melts the person's heart. It turns their heart towards God. It just makes them, so vulnerable and so open to receive what the Lord has. And so, like, I see people who can sing really well, but they don't want to, share their gift with anybody. And it's just like, you never know whose life you're gonna affect. Like many times I've sang at services and I didn't want to do it. I was afraid of what people were going to say about me, how they would receive me, they would be rejecting me. And people came up to me and they were like, you know what, I was really having a really hard time. I was really, thinking about taking my life. And, when you were singing up there, it really inspired me and it gave me hope. Little on me, like, I didn't think I'm so great and so amazing. I was afraid to do it in the first place. But because I obeyed God and did what He told me to do, I saved someone's life. And God saved someone's life through me, So, like, it's really important. Like, imagine if the person, like, who created asthma, like, who created the inhaler, didn't create the inhaler. Like, so many people be suffering from asthma, people would die because they wouldn't have no rescue inhaler to help them to breathe, Like, so many people has these inventions and creative ideas that changed history. Like, the street lights. But there were so many accidents and so many, people dying because if someone didn't answer the call of God. If God is giving you a call, do it, because you never know whose life you're going to change. You never know if you are a history maker. You are a world changer. So be obedient to God and do what He's told you to do, because you never know whose life is going to affect. For example, like I work with an organization, and we do mission work, and I didn't want to go to Uganda. Like I had an outreach, and I didn't want to go to Uganda. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to go to a place in Africa where I knew people, where it was comfortable, where it was easy for me, and I didn't want to go. But God called me to go to Uganda, and there were so many lives that were affected through our ministry. Like, I don't know where they would be right now if God didn't send us there to touch their hearts, to minister to them. I know one girl who God called me to be her mentor, and like when I met her, she was 8 months pregnant, and she didn't have like anything for her baby. Nothing. She had nothing for her baby. She had no blankets. She had no wipes. She had no diapers. She had nothing for her baby. Not a crib. Not anything. She had nothing for her baby. Just imagine what that baby's life would have been like raising up without having any diapers, without having any clothes, without having any blankets, without the mom even having like the proper things she needs to give birth. Because in Uganda, when you go to the hospital, you have to bring everything. So imagine what kind of birth that child would have had if she didn't have the proper tools she needs to birth that baby. She could have died. Her baby could have died. But God sent me and my friends into her life so that we can give her the things she needs, give her the counsel she needs. After she had the baby, she had really strong postpartum depression. She wanted to leave the baby, abandon the baby. She wanted to run away. And we were there for her. We counseled her. We prayed for her, and we changed her life. So I just want to encourage you not to let your fears and your insecurities of yourself, stop you from doing what God called you to do, because it's not about you. Honestly, you weren't put on this earth to please yourself. You were put on this earth to do what God created you to do. You were created for a purpose. You were created for the season. You were created for a time. So stop holding back the gifts that God has for you. If you're a singer, sing. Open up your voice loud. Sometimes I'm singing down the street and people don't even know me, and they're just like, wow, your voice is beautiful. It really touched my heart. I don't know them from Adam, but just because I'm using the gift that God gave me, it touched their hearts. Or, for example, I like working with kids. There's one girl in the organization that I work with. When I came to the organization, she was bent over. She had a black eye. Not black eye. She had a pink eye. Her eyes were red and swollen. She was bent over. She didn't smile. By the time I left, that girl was walking. This girl couldn't walk. She sat there bent over, like she couldn't move. She, could barely move her neck. This girl was walking, smiling, laughing. She was full of personality. It's just because I loved on her every day. I spent 20, 30 minutes, hours with her, loving on her, talking to her. Don't waste the gifts that God has for you. I don't want to die with a life full. I want to die with life poured out. When I get to heaven, I want Jesus to say, yeah, you gave it all. I want to do everything God calls me to do, because you never know whose life you're going to change. Second thing is, always, before you do it, make sure you prepare. Like Nehemiah, he got his research. He didn't just go in there starting to build the wall. He went a night before. He discovered it. He looked at the walls. He looked at what was broken. He looked what needed to be fixed. Before you start a ministry, you need to get your proper research done. You need to say, okay, I want to work with girls in South Africa. Okay, research the situation. What's being done already? Because you don't want to do what's already being done. And if you have the same heart to do what somebody else is doing, partner with them. See how you can make what they're doing doing better. It's really important to be really full of knowledge and understanding. So you answer the call of God, and then you do your part and you research, so your heart can be ready, you can be prepared. Like when I was going to Uganda, I looked up all the different ministries, I looked up all the different things. So when I got to that ministry, that when the kids, they were all laying on one mat and all their pee and all that stuff, like I was prepared. I was ready to do what God called me to do. I know it was hard. I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be difficult. I knew I was going to cry, but I was ready for it. You got to be ready for the call of God. Now sometimes God can call you and you just up and go, and you go do it. But I think it's best that you know what you're going to do. You have some research. Your heart is prepared, and you can walk into it and do what God called you to do with excellence. Some people just, oh, God told me to do this, I'm just going to jump and do it. But you may not have all the tools you need. You don't know how much it's going to cost. You don't know how much tools you're going to need, how many people you're going to connect with, how many staff, volunteers you're going to need. For me, God has given me a heart for organization, and for the last 10 years, I've been researching it. I know what the need is in Ethiopia. I know, how much money it's going to take. I've done a whole budget for the organizations that I'm going to have, because I don't want to just tell people, hey, I'm raising money for this, and then I can't give. People not going to give money into nothing they don't understand. You know, you have to lay it out, give them the full information, and you have to have an understanding, because if you just up and go and you get it, you're going to be like overwhelmed, like, what did I just sign myself up for? What is going to happen? How is life going to happen? What did I do? Like, you start freaking out. So if you have a full understanding of what you're going there for, what you're going to do, what you need, then it makes it easier. And I'm not saying if you do that, life is going to be perfect. No, life is never perfect. But it makes the process a little bit easier. And then the third thing I want to say is, once you do the research, don't let it scare you. Because sometimes when you see, oh, there's 5,000, street kids out there. How am I going to reach them all? Little on me, what am I going to say? When I was in Amsterdam, I had to work with prostitutes. I'm a virgin. I've never went to a club, went to a party. I've never drunk, smoked, none of it. So I was like, how they going to listen to me? Like, what I got to say to them? But, I was prepared. I did not let the research scare me. I looked at the situations. I did research. I watched movies, Nefarious. I watched all these different stuff to prepare myself. And I couldn't let the demographics and stuff scare me. But don't let it scare you. Trust in God, because God is bigger and greater than any situation, any struggle. If He calls you to do it, He's gonna help you to get it done. God's not gonna call you to do something that's impossible. He's calling you to do it, and He's gonna be with you. Even in Zechariah, and he was telling the people, be strong, build the temple. I'm with you. He's not gonna tell you something to do that's impossible for you to do it. And He's gonna be with you. So just give it to Him. And so I just really want to give you guys an exhortation, to give you a push to stop being afraid of what people are going to say about you. People are not going to validate you every time. And if you have a brand new idea, you looking for everybody else to give you a validation, what you're doing is brand new. Nobody's ever done it before. They're not going to understand it. They may not accept it. But all you have to know is you have to obey what God has called you to do. If they don't validate you, okay. You got the creator of their whole entire universe backing you up. That's all you need. I'm not telling you to be rebellious or a lone ranger. But what I'm saying is, don't wait. Don't say, oh, nobody else is doing what I'm doing. In every single school I've done, I'm the only African American. I'm not going to say, oh, where's all the other African Americans? I'm alone. No, God told me to do it. I'm going to do it. It may get lonely at times. It may get hard at times. But I'm being obedient to God, and I know that's going to be reward. The reward is having Him. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to, don't think so much about yourself and how the struggle is going to be for yourself. Just trust that God is going to take care of you. And it may not be easy. Like I said, no, when I say, like, oh, I like this music, nobody knows the kind of music I listen to, the food I eat, the life I've grown up with, but I share the culture. That's what it's about, being into culture. I share my culture, you share your culture, we learn with each other. So don't worry about what people are going to say about you, how it's going to look. Just trust God, do what He tells you to do, have your research, be prepared and ready, and don't let the research scare you. That's all I have to say for my Motivational Monday. You guys know I love you. You're precious, you're priceless, you're greatly loved by the Father and me. And remember, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment bar below or inbox me. I really want to do some teaching and training when I come home. So if anybody's interested, let me know, and I'll get it gathered together. So yeah, I love you guys. I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope it wasn't being too harsh, but I really love you. I really want you to walk in your destiny, and I really don't want you to lie dormant, living your life dormant. You have so many gifts on the inside of you, so many talents. You are so worthy. You're so wonderful. God created you for a purpose. Discover it. Go discover it. Okay, bye.